Hey, Jerry, how's it going? Hey, Chelsea.
How's it going?
Good.
Good. Not at the moment.
Right now, I just see your email. Check. Yep.
Hello?
Check.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I will be. Yeah, I'll probably start it up in the second end, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I do a little bit. It's I'm not traditionally, but I'm on Cool Bet now because it was the thing, and yeah, I'm somewhat apprised of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can find some time to sneak it in for sure. Mm-hmm.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, you can't bet on your own events, obviously. That would be not great, but yeah. YouTube curling stadium.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Horgan versus Kelter game. We're just watching them practice right now, and we're gonna get into some good curling.
I'm okay with that stick. I think I'll put it there a bit better. Yeah. Was that 70? 75? That's possible on the phone. Yeah. I'll be looking for the because I wouldn't mind being a little bit more for time. Yeah.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the game. Horgan versus Kleiter. We're starting off with Horgan throwing red rocks, Kleiter throwing yellow, and Horgan does have last rock this end.
I don't think it's quite as funny. No, it just says West Guard. That's it. West Guard? How does it even go up there? Does it?
We've got a nice hit roll out from the Horgan team, and Kleiter's team's responding with a nice guard right in the center line. Nice hit and roll by the Kleiter team. What a nice rollout by Darren Molding. Horgan team seems to want to keep it blank this end, carry the hammer into the second. So Kleiter's just responding and making the shot. Right. Darren Molding with the hit, just trying to keep the end open. Rylan Kleiter responding to Horgan's shot with a nice little hit to try and score this end. Nice nose hit from Team Kleiter. And another hit coming from Team Horgan.
Take control, Tanner.
Right. And Kleiter's last rock, just trying to hit Team Horgan's rock out of the house. And a nice hit and roll out. And Team Horgan looks like they're throwing this one through to carry the hammer into the next end. Right. And after the first end, it is still 0-0 and going into the second.
It's much better.
All right, we're into the second end. Team Horgan still with the hammer, and Kleiter responding with one in the house.
You guys ready for the intern? Yeah. Oh, sorry. No, never mind. Gotcha. I'll just get better at throwing out turns.
Few changes on Team Horgan this year. We got Tanner Horgan the skip, Darren Molding the third, Jacob Horgan the second, and Colin Hodgins as the lead. Very excited to see where this team is going to end up this year. Now on Kleiter's side, we got Rylan Kleiter, we got Josh Mattern, Trevor Johnson, and Matthew Talion. Both these teams are very good teams in my opinion, and I'm excited to see how this game plays out.
might. You should get a body bag.
We've got a draw into the house by the Horgan team, and Kleiter responding with a hit. And we've got a nice hit and roll from the team. Both teams looking to score this end. It's definitely going to be a game of who takes the chance first. Both teams are very good, and it's going to be fight to the finish for sure. Here comes Darren Molding with another hit. Both teams are playing in the Leduc tournament. I believe it started on Thursday and is continuing till Monday. Oh, sorry, started on Friday and is continuing till Monday. 4-day tournament. got a hit and roll by Team Kleiter. And Team Horgan just deciding to do with their last rocks of the end. Right. This end looking to turn out into another blank or maybe a steal. Either way, there's not going to be much scoring this end. Nice hit by the Kleiter team, leaving Tanner Horgan with a hit and roll out this end. Ooh. And a right by for Horgan team, giving Kleiter another point to this end, heading into the third. All right, heading into the third, we got 1-0 for Kleiter, Horgan with the hammer. This drop sliding a little bit in, leaving the Kleiter team a hit and roll to sit 2. Colin with the double. This will be a nice shot. Just misses the double slightly, but does get one rock out. Do you know with hits, especially the back of the house hits, as we've seen in the last end, back of house hits are very, not extremely hard, but they're very hard to gauge the right ice for. But both these teams seem to be very good with their hits. Team Kleiter just putting up a guard to try and make it a little more difficult for Horgan. But they are trying to run. We do see a good amount of run backs in the higher ends. Even peels are good, as we just saw, but usually, especially with my team, we don't go for run backs very much, but these teams are very experienced and they do love their run backs. But especially with shots like those, we do see tolerances, and I do believe that that peel is definitely a tolerance for that team. Team Kleiter just probably trying to throw that back up there, trying to run the team out of rocks. And we put it right back up. I'm very jealous of how these guys can throw two good stones right in a row. Definitely takes some practice. Nice run back from the team. Opening it up and leaving themselves a guard. Looks like Team Kleiter is trying to take advantage and just throw one in behind as a 2 again. Right. Nice guard on Kleiter's end, keeping their rock safe. Nice heavyweight come around from Darren Molding. Definitely hard to make those shots. But it does look very good from this angle. And Team Kleiter looking to respond. They're just sitting on it. It looks like they're going to tap it back, actually. I think that would be a good option for that team. Help keep their rocks safe and give them a little backing at the same time. Horgan's rock is still shot, but that does leave the Kleiter team a chance to tap theirs in. But it is looking pretty good for them right now, for both teams. And Team Horgan just wanting to curl around those guards to sit another two behind all the top rocks, so it's harder for Kleiter to get around to it. This ice does seem to have a good amount of curl, so this shot looks very welcoming. Looks very good to me. It does look like they are tapping, but I feel like that's a good option as well. It's good tolerance. Nice come around and tap by the Kleiter team. Getting a little closer. It does still look like Team Horgan is shot.
They can really hold that straight when you flip it, hey? Like, it's insane. I was like, probably ended up under curling.
See Morgan with the guard.
Good shot, Tanner.
Right, and Kleiter's just responding with a come around to try and sit. I do like this shot option. It's very curly ice, and I believe they do have strong sweepers. Both of these teams have very strong sweepers. I'm very jealous, but this is a good shot to make, and I believe they can make it.
Yeah, I guess we didn't keep it. Once we have no alarm, you gotta leave them high. I'm giving them back sites.
Good afternoon, Haley. Jason Chang here.
Hello, how are you?
Doing just fine. Just returned from the closing banquet of the World Curling Federation Annual Congress.
Oh, nice. How was that?
It was in Switzerland. There was cheese.
Wow.
There was other things to consume as well. So I'll try to hold it together for you, Haley.
Nice. When did you get back from that? Did you get back today or a couple days ago?
Well, I'm still in Switzerland. So we literally just finished the closing banquet. I'm in the hotel room. Did a game last night. I did a couple of games last night after our dinner. But this rock looks like kind of made a reaction. Maybe it grabbed a bit. Because
There has been a couple that looked like they've started to grab, so maybe it's the path?
Yeah, he doesn't look happy. It must have been a bit of a grab, and he did get one in the send to tie the game at 1-1 after 3 ends of play.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Doubles? Absolutely. You want to go doubles? Full doubles. Doubles. No doubles.
Well, fourth end here. Curling Stadium, Alberta Series Leduc. These are the C-side finals. Haley, both
I
games
believe
on the ice.
so. believe it's
so
finals or
We're
today or
distracted. We're not-
tomorrow. I think these are
We're
finals.
worrying
Yeah.
about the ice instead
yeah,
of
the seaside qualifiers. So
Let-
winner
let me
will go
rate
through the
ice.
quarterfinals. The losers are out. So obviously a very tense game because there's no life left after that. Now, Haley, I understand you are a junior curler. Did you ever have I know Tanner and Rylan are out of juniors for a couple years, but did you ever had a chance to meet them or play against them when you were maybe a little bit younger, or just too much age gap there?
I believe I've met Tanner once. I have gotten to know Colin a bit there. I had a podcast a bit back and I interviewed him for a bit. And we like exchanged numbers and we were talking about curling and such off.
Yeah, very good. Well, both these young teams, of course, those skips very accomplished. Ryland, I think 2019 Canadian and World Junior Champion. Tanner, I think lost the final. I think lost to Matt Dunstone actually, but obviously
Yeah.
has had a lot of success moving up into the men's ranks.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to see where his team goes this year for sure.
Well, this is a very interesting new lineup for him, right? I mean,
Very,
he's got
yes.
Darren Molding at third, his brother, little brother Jake Horgan at second, and Colin Hodgson that leads a very animated Colin Hodgson. So a really interesting lineup.
hmm Yeah, with all the switch around with these teams this year, it's definitely going to be interesting to see where everyone ends up and how the teams mesh.
Oh, absolutely. And these first tournaments of the season, these early tournaments, are just really a chance for the teams to get a little bit more familiarity with each other, right? In a competition setting. Yeah, they probably have had some beers, maybe been on the golf course, but haven't had some serious competition. And you do need that that time for a team to gel together.
Yeah.
A corner guard there,
hmm
nicely put up. See Rylan, he'd like to score in this even end. We always talk about odd ends and even ends, and in a 1-1 tie, you'd like to definitely score in the even end. Hopefully, a couple.
Yeah, there's been times where we've scored in odd ends and we're like, oh, we wish it was in an even, but I guess you could still win even if it's even an odd end.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, I think Matt Hall, Mr. Probability, can probably tell us better, but taking one has never really hurts your probability, but if you can do it, you can take the two or score in the evens, it's better for your probability of winning a game.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and Rylan's going to use his corner guard for sure.
Oh, 100%.
And right now, I mean, not super dangerous where the Horgan stones are. I mean, yes, there is a center guard, but their stone that's in the house is only top 12, right? So if there's no need to chase that, you can always outdraw that. You're gonna, with your team Horgan, you're gonna have to make that a bit better before Rylan Kleiter is scared.
Yeah, when the rocks are that high up, you can also use them too as a guard for your own rock, just going
Right,
around.
you can
Yeah.
just go around it. And the ice, what I've seen yesterday, and I haven't seen much yet today, it's curling enough such that you can definitely get around rocks in the top of the rings.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it seems to be curling a good amount, and especially with the sweepers on both teams, they could always give it a little bit too.
Yeah, that draw ended up quite late, actually. Ended up being another corner guard. It now gives Team Horgan a chance to go around their double red situation and put a little bit of pressure on Team Kleiter.
Yeah, beat them to the going around shot for sure. Looks pretty tucked behind the guard. You can still see a bit of it though.
Maybe just a peel. You can slash it with peel and get them all, right?
Yeah, pretty good shot. I mean, I think you pretty much force Team Kleiter to play the run back of some sort, because right now hard for them to score if they don't move anything. You can actually roll to another corner guard. You probably get, I don't know if the triple is there. Maybe there's an angle that the triple is there, but get a couple off. Roll it to corner, pretty good.
Yeah, it does look like they got the double there.
Yeah, I think they would have liked to maybe get it over the top and roll that shooter off of the center line. It's still just touching the center line, so it's still a center guard really for Team Horgan. Now, Haley, I think you're in the London area, London, Ontario area, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
And of course, I think you're still in juniors. You're planning on a busy schedule on the junior circuit and then playdowns, or?
Oh yeah, it definitely looks a lot heavier this year. They're trying to get everything that they missed in this year.
Right.
But
Well,
I'm excited.
Well, seems like there's so many more under 21, under U15, U18 events now than there were before, at least at the high level.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I remember I got into U15 earlier than a lot of my friends, and I remember a lot of the competitions, they didn't have, like, a lot of them, they're mostly just small cash fields, but there's definitely a lot more that I've noticed, like, bigger events for the U15s now.
Yeah, and that's great for developing the more competitive side. Obviously, you still need that level for those who just want to play for fun and recreational, but you got to have both sides to have a healthy curling system.
100%, yeah. If you just get like the younger kids who are just used to the cash field, and then they get thrown into U18 where you're battling with the best of the best, it's a little bit intense.
Yeah, this rock is over curling, but it might be an okay result. If they played it quiet way, they can maybe, if it stops, stop in the house. No, it couldn't get it stopped in the house. Trevor Johnson, the second for Team Kleiter. Their lead is Matthew Tatsutatan, Josh Mather in their third, and Rylan Kleiter as their skip. And I remember Rylan playing in the juniors, always had very bright pants at those juniors.
I've always aspired to wear the bright pants, but I've never had the confidence.
And his I think, had a green pattern to them, obviously from Saskatchewan.
Mm-hmm. Wow, just look at him carry that. I'm very, very impressed of how good they all can sweep. I'm very jealous.
Well, it's a very important skill in terms of team construction these days, is trying to get the best sweepers as you can, as well as the best throwers as you can. And with the best teams in the world, if you can make that rock carry an extra foot, you're going to win a lot more games because of that.
100%, yeah. There's been a lot of like high-end games out there where they carry that extra foot and they get that win.
Having a look at how both of these teams got to this position, it was very different between Team Horgan and Team Kleiter. Team Kleiter, they dropped their first two matches to Jonathan and Mike McEwen, and that dropped them straight to the seaside right away. So elimination starting from the third game, and they beat Dallin Myers, Scott Dunham from the U.S., Chuck O'Shea, former Canadian World Junior Champion as well, and now brings up to this point the Seaside final against Tanner Horgan. Meanwhile, Tanner Horgan started with 2 wins and had a chance to win the A side and the B side and qualify. Beat Sebastian Robillard from BC, Corey Dropkin from the US, then lost to Riku Yanagisawa of Japan. Riku played last week in Martinsville, finished runner-up, played amazing. Then Tanner lost to Yannick Schwaller, who won last week at Curling Stadium Martinsville. Beat Kyler Kleibrink earlier today, 8-4, and now has to get by Rylan Kleiter to get to the playoff round.
Yeah, 2 very different routes, but both have the spirit to win, that's for sure.
Oh, yes. It's still a really good situation right now for Team Horgan. They've got double centered guards, rock in the top 12, rock on the side of the button.
It's looking very nice for them right now, yeah. But the Team Kleiter might be able to get both of these guards out if they hit it in just the right spot.
Yeah, you can even drive the yellow one back into the house and maybe catch one of the reds.
Mm-hmm.
If you can catch one of the reds and roll it behind your own corner, that'd be really good.
Yeah, that would be the perfection, yes.
Trying to make this curl. Get both guards. Does get both guards. Rolls it off a little bit. Unfortunately, where it rolled, it actually guarded the open side of that shot that's in the side of the button. You could have seen a piece of that rock in the button, and now it's rolled over a little bit. So it's actually taken away the direct shot at shot stone.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, skip stones now. Tanner's going to just keep protecting this situation. There's no thinking for him.
Well, definitely gotta.
Looking for a good guard here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Haley, I joined the game in progress. I wasn't paying too much attention, but I see only 3 of Team Horgan on the ice right now. Do they have a fourth? Did I?
There was a fourth one. I'm not sure where he went, but
Okay, I thought there was. It surprised me to see only 3 there because I thought I saw 4 earlier.
Yeah, there was 4. Yeah. Oh, there's the other one. Must have just been.
Yeah, a wash and break.
Probably, yeah. I don't blame him.
Or a beverage break.
You never know.
Really good guard there from Tanner, and now this is a good call. Try to peel the yellow into the rock in the house. You could maybe even make the run double. If you hit it a bit high, you'll just get the straight peel, so that's okay if that happens. You might even get the double peel if you're a little high. Most importantly is you can try to open up
Yeah, try
a couple
and clean
shots, right? Yeah, because right now you've taken away this kind of the soft tap back for one on that side that the yellow guard is protecting. So you definitely want that guard to be a go away. And a double peel is good here because if you double peel, Tanner can't protect everything.
Yeah. Definitely got to clean it up, yeah.
Yeah, and if you make it better and drive it into the run in the house, even better. And quite frankly, it looks like there's very little room for a rock to fit in between the guard and the one in the top 12. So
yeah, it doesn't look like there's a ton of room, yeah.
So anything on the high side, you should get a good result out of, I think.
Yeah. Coming out with a lot of weight on this one.
Tanner throws it hard. On the high side, gets the double peel, so
That is nice. That is a good shot.
yeah, the
Oh,
redstone rolls in.
It does open it up, but yeah, the redstone did roll in there.
And sorry, I think I said Tanner throws it hard. Tanner throws it hard too, but Rylan throws it just as hard. Yeah, a little bit extra pressure for Rylan to face an extra stone in the rings, but that rock is only in the 12-foot, so
Yeah, so there is definitely still a lot of wiggle room for him.
And the question here is, what do you guard? Because I think if you guard the double, you do leave that quiet tap on the out-turn side if you're a righty, that counterclockwise turn for the single. But if you guard the tap, you could leave the double. And I think if you make the double, you are going to be shot wrong.
Oh,
Looks like it outcounts the other red stone, right? So so that's why they're trying to think, is there a perfect spot for it? Maybe there's a small piece of ice where you can block both, but it's not easy to get to that spot when you're trying to. They're trying
It's
to hit a spot. Yeah, that's small. But they're going to try. That's the best call, is to try to block both.
Exactly, yeah. As long as you try for it, but definitely to cover both of those. It's difficult, but it's there.
I guess the other option, I think they're kind of corner freezing on the top side of that stone in the top 12. I guess you could play it, wrap it a little bit behind it as well. It might leave the intern draw, although the intern draw is not easy with where that guard is. You might have to come pretty close to that yellow guard if you're kind of drawing the button.
Yeah, you probably have to just get right by it on that one.
I think we can play the draw. Top 12.
Let's see how good the sweepers are, because once it's out of the thrower's hands, it's really all the sweepers who can control the speed and also a little bit that curl, right?
Looks like it's going to be a little bit deeper. Maybe they were trying for the freeze.
Yeah, it looks like maybe they were trying to wrap around. I think wrapping around actually is the better way to take both shots away, because now there's no double. You can't play the quiet tap. I think Rylan is maybe considering playing the easy double on the top two, just nosing it and giving up one.
Yeah, just trying to like lower his scoring for sure.
Yeah, because the draw isn't easy, right? You could easily crash on that guard on the outside or over curl and crash on the rock in the top 12 and give up 3 or 4, right?
Yeah. Definitely puts the pressure on this team, though.
Still a little bit of pressure, though. You can't roll out here.
No. Yeah, with it being last rock, I'm not. They're just going for the soft double, right? Just to kind of limit his scoring.
Just trying to limit the scoring. Pretty much on the nose here. So down the center line, Rylan Kleiter, final stone, 4th end. Looking to just give up the second one here. He makes the double, no problem, right on the nose. And they're having a quick look, but I think yellow is closer than that red. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
So it is just one for Team Kleiter. 2-1 after 4. Team Kleiter, or sorry, 2-1. Horgan leads Team Kleiter. Kleiter with hammer in the 5th. Back for the start of the 5th end. Team Horgan stealing one, putting a great end together. Team Kleiter did a good job to just limit the damage to 1, so they can hammer down by 1.
Yeah, definitely not a bad situation for Team Kleiter.
First rock goes into the rings. Maybe not the perfect spot. Over curled a bit. Not sure if they wanted a guard or a draw that was slightly further into the rings. But Rylan, he's going to crawl the corner guard for sure. Try to set things up for another 2 points. No 2 points scored so far, so that's very good.
100%.
And of course, Horgan's got to give a steal on the board, so.
So
Haley,
far, it's the low scoring end.
Yeah, it's very low scoring. Haley, I wanted to ask you a question about your experience in junior curling or U21 curling. how much do you track your own stats? Do you guys chart your own games? Do you look at, video of your own games? How how much data are you using from what you guys collect and have?
Yeah, so recently, like a couple years ago, we started actually like we usually, we go over the key points of the game, like, like big ends, stuff like that. But recently we have been looking at like we would just small stream our games on Facebook and we would go watch them after just to see what we could have done better, what we can improve on, things like that. And then this year, I believe we are actually going to try and do more like stats and like players and like what individually we can improve on to kind of improve our individual and then we can improve the team.
Yeah, and more teams are doing that now, and there are coaching apps that help you track the games and figure out your percentages and what you might be on an intern versus an out-turn draw, or an intern hit versus an out-turn hit, the inside-out shot. So all that data is just really helpful for a team, and especially for the coach to focus your practices or your training on improving those aspects of the game, right? And if you don't have the data, yes, you're maybe guessing and using your observation, but you don't know exactly, right?
Exactly, yeah. And I think with like getting all like a bunch more technology, like there's a bunch of apps out there, there's all of this streaming, you definitely have access to be able to get that accuracy nowadays.
And then obviously at the highest levels of curling,
Mm-hmm.
they often make use of statisticians and consultants to help them manage their game plan, even game plan against particular opponents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our team is begin to start like, well, we've done a couple years back, we kind of like watch other games to get a feel of the other teams, and then we try and gear our practice to what we think we need to improve on to have a good chance to advance in the game.
Just having a quick look at the schedule. Obviously, there's only 2 matches on the ice. The Seaside Finals, Corey Dropkin and Reed Carruthers, as well as our game, Rylan Kleiter against Tanner Horgan, and then quarterfinals coming up later tonight, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And then the semifinals and the finals are tomorrow, Monday, 10 a.m. Mountain, 1:30 p.m. Mountain, add 2 hours if you're in Eastern time zone. If you happen to be where I am in Switzerland, add 8 hours.
Ooh, that's a big difference, that's for sure.
Team Horgan really placed their first 3 rocks in a very good position. Here's a really good opportunity, Haley, for Team Kleiter to make a quiet play on these red stones and then roll the shooter behind their corner guard.
Just skinnies that red.
Now, can they get the full roll? Yeah. No, it just rolls a little bit too far, but pretty good attempt. Overswept it, in fact.
Yeah, just a little farther than what they would have liked. Now, you said you were over in Switzerland, so what is like, how did you get there? What is your curling history? How did you get away over there?
Well, I'm only here for the World Curling Federation meetings, annual general meetings. So I am based out of Toronto, but I am born in Hong Kong. I do play for Hong Kong, in fact,
Nice.
in international competition. And grew up in Calgary, actually. So this is like a home event for me. Leduc's not too far from Calgary, so
Oh, yeah.
parents
Now,
still live there.
how do you find international curling? Do you find it any different from Canadian? Like just like Canadian curling?
I would say yes, and it depends where you go internationally. I've
Yeah.
played in different parts of the world. Certainly in Canada, even at a pretty serious cash field like this one, the teams would get off and have a drink together. depending on where you are in the world, that may be the case or that may not be the case. So that's one difference. Another difference that I've noticed is more in terms of even some of the procedures. I think in North America, for tour events like this, it's not super formal. What I mean by that is
Yeah.
there's no umpires per se, managing a sheet. There's no time clocks. There's even pre-game practice. It's not they don't use necessarily the same rules as what's in international competition.
Yeah.
So they may have a modified practice, right? It might be shorter. They may only throw a few stones up, and then they have to do their draw of the button. Whereas when I played internationally, they seem to be a little bit more formal. Sometimes they might have actual umpires dedicated to each sheet. Sometimes they actually have time clocks or people putting up the scores for you.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes, typically if they do a practice, they use the international, the World Curling Federation practice system. So I think it's just maybe a little bit more formalized, and that's the culture, right? In Canada,
Yeah.
curling's been around for a long time. We've kind of invented a lot of our own procedures in Canada, whereas international curling, they adopted the World Curling Federation procedures when they started, right? So
Yeah.
they didn't develop their own culture.
Yeah. Definitely we've invented it again. They kind of almost piggybacked on it. I was talking with someone who does also play in Scotland, and they say there's a lot less curling teams over there than we have.
For sure, even a country like Scotland or Sweden, there is a lot less teams. I mean, you've got a 24-team event here at
Yeah.
Leduc, and it's hard to get 24-team tournaments out there for sure.
100%. Yeah.
Especially with 20 of them. I don't know exactly the number. It seems like there's at least 16 or 18 Canadian teams, right? To get 16 or 18 Scottish teams together is
It's
almost impossible, right? Or Swedish teams or Norwegian teams.
Yeah, because we were telling them, because they were asking us, we were telling them about like all of the qualifiers you had to do to get into like the junior provincials, and they were just amazed because they're like, we just only have one game and that's it. And I was like, it's insane how less tournaments they have because they don't have as many teams.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So yeah, goes on, and the annual general congress has concluded. A lot of important work done by the member associations, participating in the meetings, the discussions, the strategy, competitions and rules committees. So I can share a little bit to our viewers. This was a very big event. One reason is it's been 2 years since we've had an in-person meeting, or that's 3 years since we've had it in person because of COVID. Last time we were together, it was 2019 in Mexico for the annual Congress. But the significance of this year's was the president of the World Curling Federation for the past 12 years, Kate Caithness. This is her last year of her term. And
Oh,
so there
really?
was an election for the new presidency. There were 4 excellent candidates: Graham Troust from Canada, Bo Welling from the United States, Bent Rumsfeld, Olympic champion from Norway, and from Australia, Hugh Milliken. And it was I think it was a difficult election for those candidates because they all were either vice presidents or directors at the WCF
Yeah.
and were good friends. It was hard to campaign against good friends,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
And when there's 4 really good candidates on the table, it's hard for one to decide who to vote for. And as a representing the Hong Kong Curling Association, I had to vote for the candidate that we were supporting. And honestly, because the candidates were all very, very qualified and high quality, I actually didn't make up my mind until they actually called for the election vote, and I had to actually press the button to decide who I was going to vote for. And in the end, it took 2 ballots because you needed a majority, so the lowest candidate gets dropped off. And So big
Wow.
congratulations to the United States and Bo Welling, who's the next president, or I guess he's
Nice.
now the current president of the World Curling Federation. He'll be leading
Nice.
the next growth phase. And, I'm very excited about that choice from the members because we know the data shows that the U.S. is currently the biggest growth market for curling. They're building more
Wow.
clubs, they're building more facilities, more people are pregnant. A lot of that has to do with, the Olympic Games.
100%. Yeah.
Not only the coverage, but also that gold medal that John Schuster won
Mhm.
last time out in Korea.
Yeah.
And so it's a great time to have a president from the U.S. who can try to, grow curling in the U.S. as
Yeah.
well, bring on more sponsorship to the events.
Yeah.
American dollars, right? That's where the money is, right? It's a
Yeah.
much bigger market than Canada, and if you can get that attention of corporate sponsors, it will help lift the game for everybody in the world because you need sponsors to create revenue for the World Curling Federation, which that revenue is used to help develop curling worldwide, right?
Yeah, for sure. And definitely with that, bringing sponsors on, it also helps with like getting the next generation into the game as well. Because once you have that sponsoring, then you have wiggle room to do like broadcasts and make more clubs and
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. Well, Team Kleiter had a pretty good situation there, but then Tanner Horgan lays down a great freeze, and
Very jealous. It is a very nice freeze.
so I think they're gonna come down. Maybe just I don't know if they're gonna go freeze or draw to the top four. They're waiting for it a bit to curl. I think it's a little bit out there.
Does
Looks
look
like they're gonna try to.
tad heavy.
Yeah, looks like they're gonna try to freeze. It is a tad heavy, Haley, as you observe. No, not shot rock. Red still shot stone there. So
Yeah. It does make a bit of a pocket though, which they can
yes.
sit in.
And the question for Tanner, I think, is whether you decide to sit in the pocket or just go top four.
Just go above it, yeah. Yeah, I feel like if you're Tanner and you sit in that pocket, Rylan's just gonna come down right on top of it and sit shot.
Yeah, and that'd be the situation, and you're forced to win. But
Yeah.
you do tie the game up. Tanner's probably
Yeah.
happy about that. He's probably very happy to give up one here, take Hammer into the sixth end, right? Tie
Yeah.
game with Hammer in the even ends. That's always a good situation.
Always nice, yeah.
Yeah, so the last stone for Tanner Horgan in the fifth end without last stone. Trying to sit in the pocket, freeze it in there. So they've gone back to three clears again.
Yeah, I've noticed. I don't know where Jacob went. It's been a couple ends, I believe.
Wonder what he had for lunch.
Yep. Said from experience, one of my teammates has had that problem, and it's not fun.
Draws it in there. I think you're going to force Team Kleiter here to just come down, maybe tap it back a little bit to score their
Yeah.
one point.
Yeah, I just need to tap it out, sit shot.
You can be your four. Yeah, that doesn't mean you're playing.
Opportunity to tie the game for Team Kleiter. Final stone, fifth end. Looking for a heavy draw. The stone that Tanner just moved back a few inches. Six shot stone for the 1 point. The Steamers are really on it. I think they've lost it already.
There has been a couple picks this game, a couple before you joined, and then some are here, so I'm not sure what's going on with those.
But that means it's a steal of 2 for Team Horgan, and they're going to jump out to a 4-1 lead now in this Seaside final match. Back in a second for the sixth end. We're back, sixth end of Curling Stadium, Alberta Series, Leduc Major. Team Horgan now jumps out to 4-1 lead over Team Kleiter. Team Kleiter with the hammer. After that miss in the last stone, may have picked. It wasn't anywhere close, so I'm going to guess maybe it picked because that barely made it over the hog line. So we expect Rylan to miss by 25 feet on a draw, especially when you're playing a heavy draw. So unfortunate, and as you mentioned, Haley, there's been a few picks on this night, so not sure why.
Yeah, probably should just. What my team usually does is if we notice a couple picks, we just like to keep the broom down, just nice and light, clean, and try and deal with them as they come. You can't really, with picks, you can't really control when they happen, which sucks. But
Yeah, that's one of the difficult parts about sports, right? There's that variability, and the pick is obviously, if it happens to you, it's just the worst. You never even like to win off of an opponent's pick either, right? You kind of feel bad if their last rock picked and you won.
yeah, I've had a couple of those. It's definitely bittersweet because you're happy you won, but you're not happy with the way it happened.
Like a little straight.
Well, if you're just joining us, my name is Jason Chang, helping to bring the action from the Ice Here device run by Haley Britton.
Hello.
Seaside finals right now, so winner goes through to the playoffs. Loser is out of the money this week. And then the the quarterfinals happen later tonight, as mentioned earlier, 7 p.m. Mountain, 9 Eastern. I think that's 3 a.m. Switzerland time.
Ooh, that definitely a late game.
I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be joining you for that game, Haley. Actually, my flight out of Lausanne, Switzerland is tomorrow morning at 10:45. I was joking with the Curling Stadium crew. Well, I do need to wake up really early in the morning to make sure I go to breakfast and take the train to catch. We have to take a train to Geneva to catch the flight in Geneva, the airport. The train, it's not a long ride; it's about 15 minutes.
No.
And if you've been to Europe, trains in Europe are very efficient and on time and frequent, so rail travel is really easy. But I was joking with the Curling Stadium crew. Well, if I actually call the game, then I know I won't sleep through the morning and miss my flight.
Just get up just a little tad early.
But I'm really happy to be joining you tonight for me, but in your afternoon still, I think. Or is it getting to the evening now, right?
It's around
almost
6
p.m.
here. Yeah. Well, it's very nice to have you on here.
Some of the other interesting things discussed at the World Curling Federation. Obviously, the 8 versus 10 ends comes up every year. There's no decision on that yet, whether we will go to 8 ends. I think there's a lot of push to go that way. I think from the World Curling Federation perspective, they want to be completely sure that's the right choice. Because once you go to 8 ends, you're never going back to 10 ends, right?
Yeah.
So if just making sure that's the right choice. So there's a lot of studies and work being done on that. The other big thing that came out is, you remember, Haley, the no tip rule at the Men's and Women's World Championship was this season. And the motion did pass to continue the trial for this season, but expand the trial to more into every 4-person curling championship played at the World Curling Federation level will use the no-tick rule except for wheelchair.
Oh, okay.
So this will include the European Championships, the new Pan-Continental Championships, the World Mixed. So they're going to be able to collect even more data on how the no-tick rule affects the game. They did present some data on the trial from last season. What they discovered was the win percentage for the team that was leading going into the last end didn't change all that much. So a tie game coming home, the win percentage for the team with hammer actually didn't change so much. What did change was the end became much more interesting.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Because you can't move those rocks off the center line if the non-hammer team throws center guards, more rocks are in play. It was more entertaining because there was more rocks in play. It means the team with hammer had to make better shots to get their 1 point and win, and had more difficult last rock shots. But the overall win percentage didn't change all that much. But it did create a more compelling last end. If you make those
Yeah.
2 ticks like Lisa Weagle used to make, the end was over, right?
Oh yeah. But it's definitely is an interesting, almost like an interesting change to the game because now you have to deal with those guards on there. It's almost like going from the 4 rock rule to the 5 rock rule. It changes strategy a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Other things that were discussed, perhaps looking at a new World Championship format in the future. One of the things that is a problem with the current World Championship structure, or at least they think is a problem, is it's a very long World Championships in terms of numbers of games that each team has to play. You've got a 13-team World Championship, you play 12 round-robin games. Now you have that kind of quarterfinal situation. So there's 3 more games if you're going to win the gold medal, potentially. That's 15 games. That's a lot of games to have in a 7 or 8 day period.
It is, yes.
So the athletes have been saying there's too many games. There's also the notion that because the World Curling Federation has been growing and curling around the world, the level of curling has been rising, we should think about how to expand the World Championships to actually include more countries. Of course, that's in direct contradictory to my first point, right? Which is you need less games.
Exactly, yeah.
So then how do you create a format that can allow perhaps a few more teams into the World Championships without creating more games, right? If you can find a way to reduce the games. And obviously the Scotties and the Briar is a particular model where you have 2 pools, right? And then you play a preliminary round, you cross over, so you can reduce the number of games and use a format like that. There's other ideas on the table where maybe there's it starts out with a championship or an A pool. There's kind of a B pool, but there's a way for that B pool winner to come up to the championship pool. And so that you can allow more teams because you have a B pool where the winner can come up, right, and play in the championship pool. So there's a few ideas being discussed. There's nothing being decided here, but certainly some discussion about those different concepts and what might be good, what might not be good, and what are the key considerations to have when you change the format.
Definitely is a bit of a puzzle trying to include more countries because of course you want curling to spread and get more people into it, but at the same time if you're trying to limit the games it's definitely difficult.
Yeah, and the other concern with that 13-team round robin in some cases is you will have kind of the top 3 or 4 nations in the world play against seed number 12 or 13, and typically those games aren't the closest games.
Yeah.
So can you create a format that creates more compelling games as well, right?
Exactly, yeah, because we love those games, but if it's not as compelling, you might not have as many people watch it or have it as fun as it usually would be.
So a lot of considerations that the WCF working groups and the board will have to look at in, eventually proposing a new format for the member associations to consider and decide whether we want to adopt it or not.
Interesting.
Interesting to think about. There's a lot of guards in play here in this end. Team Kleiter, they've got shot stone right now, but I think Team Horgan, they're just going to either peel this straight out or play a softer weight shot to even get across the face. It looks like a softer weight shot. So maybe trying to get some curl after he gets by this guard. Yeah, now he's kind of switched sides, trying to push this out. Gets it far enough back to be shot stone.
The red does still look a little open, though.
Yeah, I think it is probably edge to edge, so they wanted to get that Yellowstone to at least third shot, and now
Yeah.
because the red is open. Team Kleiter can take advantage here. Soft weight again, push the redstone back, roll a little bit towards the center and sit 2.
Yeah. Just kind of copy what the Horgan team tried to, but get it behind those guards.
Yeah, if they make it, they've got an end set up to score
Mhm.
multiples for sure. This one looks a bit on the wide side
Little,
compared to.
yeah, it looks a little bit outside. Might be rolling the opposite way if it
Yeah,
catches
they're
it.
gonna probably roll almost right out, if not right out. Can they push the redstone back far enough to sit shot stone though? They do. That's
Yeah.
actually important to have that Yellowstone shot stone because Team Horgan's
Mhm.
gonna have to decide whether they're just gonna go around the center situation. It's hard to actually hit that Yellowstone right now, so I don't know if they've even got
Oh
a
yeah.
choice.
Yeah, I don't think you're. I think you can't really hit that one. You have to get pretty thin by those top guards, and I don't think it's very
It has changed a touch.
Yeah,
easy to do.
yeah. On that intern side, the stagger's not in your favor. You can't make it on the outturn side. I don't think center
No.
line out. So
You can take
I think Tanner. That's why we went down so quickly because he knew he had no choice. Had to pretty much draw around, but a good situation for Tanner. He's still got a good chance to steal here, right? Put in a good draw
Yeah.
to the top 4. It's behind
Mhm.
double center guards.
Yeah, and stealing's always good, especially if you don't have hammer. You hope for the multiple point, but one always isn't terrible.
It looks like it's still not back.
I hope he's okay wherever he is, because I believe, yeah, if they win tonight, they do go to the quarterfinals. So I hope he's okay by then.
Horgan gets by the guard. Looks very good here. See if Hodgson can put it in the perfect spot. Full 4-foot.
Nice, yeah, it's a very good draw.
Perfect. I think you got to play the run back now. I don't think
100%, yeah.
you don't got a choice. And if you can stick it, I don't know if you can keep the shooter around, but you probably can keep the shooter around. I'm just wondering whether you can keep the shooter protecting that back yellow or not.
Yeah.
Because if you can, then you can sit 2 buried that way.
Mm-hmm. I think you just, if you hit that, do that run back, you just got to paper the other guard.
They're
Definitely
looking
puts
at
the pressure.
Yeah, they're looking at other options because I think they don't love the run back because it opens up the
Yeah.
back yellow, right? They'd love to make a shot on shot stone where they can keep all those guards in play.
Yeah. That would be the best option for them at the moment.
Or they were having a quick look whether the slash was there. It probably is there, but it's a much harder shot than the straight run back.
Mm-hmm. That shot definitely put a lot of pressure on the team to make this one.
I mean, if you wanted to keep your shooter as a guard, you can play it with a little bit less weight, right? You don't need to play it with normal weight. You can drop
Yeah.
the weight down to board weight, then your shooter won't roll as far, and it might still block the back yellow.
Yeah, just play it with a little down to try and keep it there, be able to use it instead of throwing like a bullet and sending everything everywhere. And I think it looks like what they're doing.
Curl.
Ooh,
It
just
does over curl. They're going to crash on their back yellow and lose that one too.
Oh no.
That's not a good result.
Not the best outcome at all for that. Just looked like it just over curled just a little too much.
And Team Horgan now for sure with a great chance to steal and maybe start to close the door on this game and start thinking about that quarterfinal. If you can steal one, 5-1, 2 ends to play, you're in a pretty comfortable position.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely in a looking in a very good position at the moment for a multi-point end.
Yeah, they can even try to go right in again and sit 2. right on top, you're basically forcing Rylan to catch a piece of the button on the out turn draw, which is very difficult looking.
Difficult with all those guards that are just sitting there. You have to paper both of them, I think, just to get anywhere. Going pretty far out. I don't know if they've been down this path yet, so.
Yeah, so if they're going that far out, I think it's just the straight guard. Maybe even try to guard the draw on that side for Rylan, so that he couldn't actually hit a piece of the button.
Yeah, just trying to block off the easier shot.
Last stone for Tanner Horgan without last stone once again, but again in great spot. Sitting 3, I believe, one on the top 4. He's trying to play a tight guard, I think, maybe along the 4-foot line to take away the draw that Rylan currently has. A difficult draw that he currently has, and this is looking pretty perfect as well.
Nice, yeah. Definitely puts the pressure on Rylan to make the draw right now.
Yeah, and I'm not sure he will draw. I'm pretty sure he's going to play the run back here.
Try the run, yeah. What they were looking at before.
Almost the same shot as he just threw, so he knows that path.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's anything easier.
No, I think that's the best option he's got. Yeah, because they just threw it, so they would know the path, they know the weight. You just gotta hope it doesn't overcurl this time.
Yeah, so if I were him, I'd try to throw the same weight as I just threw, because you saw the line for that weight. And then either adjust the ice, but I think he was just a hair tight on the last one, so probably similar ice, just throw it a hair better.
That's pretty good. I thought I was worried about getting injured.
Looks like he just needs a little off nose here, just to get it in the right spot. It's hard to see from the camera angle, though.
Well, important shot here for Team Kleiter. Final stone, 6-10. Trailing 4-1. Needs to make this one down.
Looks like it's overcurling again.
A little bit.
No,
the sweeper
That's
held
good.
it out.
That was
Great
nice.
shot. Critical to stay in this game and a chance at the playoffs. 4-2. Team Horgan leads after 6. Back in Curling Stadium, Leduc for the 7th end. Great run back by Team Kleiter to salvage a single point there. Really critical for them to stay in that game. Team Horgan with the last stone advantage, up by 2. I had a quick look over at the other game. Reed Carruthers leading Corey Dropkin 3-2. Carruthers has the hammer, so he's in a good spot right now. And having a quick look at the current playoff picture, 3 qualifiers came out of the A side: John Epping, Riku Yanagasawa, Marco Husley of Switzerland. And then the B side, 3 more qualifiers come out of there as well. It was Yannick Schwaller of Switzerland, Aaron Schlosinski from Alberta, and Ryan Weeb from Manitoba. And now that brings us to the C-side finals. And of course, we're featuring Horgan and Kleiter, but if you want to also have the other stream up on your screen, Reed and Corey playing that match, also very close. And of course, the great thing about Curling Stadium is we stream every single game of every single draw of a championship, so you can never miss any of the action.
Have one on every screen in the house.
That's right. 3 on your smart TV, a couple on your laptop, and you can always have one on your phone. Put it on your work phone as well. You can get all 6 games on at the same time.
100%.
And with it, that goes without saying, we have to thank the hard work of the Curling Stadium crew behind the scenes, because they make all this picture and audio possible. It's tough to manage, you know, the camera
100%.
work and the graphics for multiple games, and they do that for 6 games, or for 6 games across the sheet if all the sheets are being used.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's a long day. They get up early in the morning to get ready.
Exactly. I get everything ready, get it planned out, and then you're there all day, and then you have to wrap it all up.
And then do it again the next day. So I hope they've got their coffee. They've got another draw tonight.
Exactly. Get their coffee, get their donuts, their muffins.
Maybe something else from the bar.
Something a little stronger than coffee, yeah.
Got to support the bar, right? Even if you're that, even
Exactly,
if you're
yeah.
the broadcast crew.
Exactly. You know, you can always order like a water or something. You just gotta whatever you got.
Maybe water, or maybe something that looks like water.
Yeah, you tell people it's water.
Well, Team Kleiter, they put up 2 guards. They really need to probably steal here and steal again in the 8th end. So that's why they're going to be fairly aggressive here with their play. Team Horgan, they're happy if they just open it up and either blank or take 1, right? Take a 3-point lead coming home, or 2 with hammer. They'd be very comfortable. So that's what they're looking for. They don't want to give up a steal.
Yeah, no, being up 3 without wouldn't be terrible for them in this situation.
I think they can play this very quiet, tap the Redstones back, try to maybe create a bit of a wall in the back 4-foot.
Yeah, give them some backing to draw in on.
Nice shot, very well controlled. Yeah, there's now that little pocket there. They can freeze to eventually, or just play something behind the center guard, and it can jam on those back stones. But free guard zone now no longer in effect, so double peel's being called. Colin Hutchison playing that 3rd stone now, because we don't know where Jake is.
I do not know.
Maybe he had an exam to go to.
Maybe, yeah. Well, wherever he is, we hope he's okay, or good luck if he's having an exam.
Also, good luck if he's in the loo. Well, they got 1 guard off, so Team Kleiter is going to try to replace the center guard here. You'll see this for a few rocks, I think. You know, Team Kleiter putting up the guard, Team Horgan peeling the guard, trying to make the double peel. At some point, Team Kleiter will have to make a play in the rings, but they'll probably save that till his zone stones. Doesn't want to go in too early, because that'll group the stones. Team Horgan will blast, move everything out of the 4-foot, give himself an easy shot for 1 if that's what he's stuck with.
Looks like not 2 nice guards that are just lined up perfectly right there.
Yeah, there's no double peel on those 2 guards, because they look fairly even. Distance isn't too wide. You can make contact with both yellows, but you'll probably leave your shooter there.
Probably leave it right in the middle, yeah.
So
like
a smart call, just a straight peel, I think, was called. So that guard was just a little bit too good. You don't want to take the risk of the run back. If you run back, you nose it. 2 yellows are in the rings, and you're guarding it with your own shooter, right? So
Yeah, and you're probably losing some of them back reds too.
yeah, so no reason to take a risk here, especially up 2. You didn't need to play the
Mhm.
run back. Hope for a guard that's maybe not as perfect, and then make a run at it, either the
Yeah.
double peel or running it in.
Yeah, so they're just gonna throw it back up. Hope it's in the same spot.
So this one's a little bit higher, and I'd be surprised if he didn't take a run at the double peel now.
Didn't go for it. Yeah.
Big backswing there in molding.
I know. I've always found his backswing very interesting. His rocks are not easy to lift.
Straight back, actually. Moves everything out of there. The 1 yellow stays on the side of the back 12, but Team Horgan won't be too disappointed in that. The only problem is it left the center guard.
Yeah, it's not a terrible outcome for that shot, but definitely could have went a tad better for them.
Yeah, I'm not really sure they were trying to play the run back or just the double peel.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to do the double peel there, and it just didn't curl enough. I'm sorry, overcurl. That's what it is.
Overcurled a little bit, yeah.
Overcurled, yeah.
Yeah, but again, not too disappointed because now you've got a way in to the forefoot or into the button on both sides. So even if Team Kleiter buries one in the top 4, you still could probably get to the side of the button on both sides to score. Not sure about the outturn side, but definitely it's there on the draws to buttons there on the intern side. So
Definitely there.
yeah, double peel probably right now.
Yeah.
If you can catch this perfect, you might even be able to redirect that yellow guard back into the house and pick off the one in the rings. That'd be a bonus. You're not
Not
necessarily
golf for it,
playing.
but that'd be a bonus, yeah.
Yeah.
Be one of those good
Close.
plantees.
Oh, just over the top. Just caught it too thin.
Still a good outcome though.
Yeah, Team Kleiter, they're putting the guards back, I think.
Yeah, they're just gonna keep throwing them up, try and run Team Horgan out of rocks.
You're throwing it really good. Okay. You're throwing it good. That spot is the same spot that was dropped.
Yeah, looking for right on the center line. Splitting the center line. He does that. I expect Tanner to try that double peel again.
Fuck him on a half a rock and then someone knows I'm on like outside 3 players. And that one doesn't.
Kleiter down by 2 here in the 7th without last stone. They've got one on the top of the button. Hopefully will be buried once this guard comes to a rest. They've got another yellow stone in the back 12, 8 o'clock position from the overhead angle. That's a nice guard, almost exactly where they wanted it. So I think the natural play is the double peel. You can also, if you run it back that way, you can make it to Tanner, you're right. You really want to get 2 rocks out of there, whether it's the 2 guards or the guard and the one in the house, right?
Yeah.
So we can match
big weight here. Saw the huge extension. Must be a 5-second peel. Jams the yellow on the back, but at so much speed that it still went forward.
Still, yeah. That was
And-
very nice.
But it's a pretty good situation to steal
Yeah, I need,
here
like-
for Team Kleiter. I think now, instead of playing the guard, if you play the guard, Tanner probably draws. He's probably okay giving you one if he can't outcount yours.
Yeah.
Still have a 1-point lead coming home. But because you're down by 2, Team Kleiter's thinking, okay, maybe we can force a mistake if you go in the house and sit 2. Kind of have a bit of a Christmas tree pattern between that guard right now, the one they're going to throw, and then, of course, the one on the button. So I think they're going to try to get this 3/4 buried behind that corner guard. So it's still protecting the one on the button. Of course, we've also got that other yellow kicker on the side of the 12-foot.
On the side, yeah.
So Team Horgan will have to be a little bit careful in their last stone.
Yeah, they
They'll
definitely
be
put it in the right
facing
spot. Definitely puts the pressure on Team Horgan for sure.
Needs this rock to curl. I don't think it's actually going to curl enough to bury where they want it. I don't know. It's coming in. Came in pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
May have wanted to curl a hair more, I think.
Yeah. Hair
But
more
it's-
just to get it under that guard.
Just a hair more under the guard, but it looks like it's done its job enough. It's forcing Tanner to make a draw.
On his last rock, yep.
Yeah, it looks like he has the pin available, but not a lot of room.
No. And even if it does just get 4-foot and gives Kleiter their 1, then he comes home up 1 with.
Yeah, exactly. So pro side miss is obviously not crashing on that rock in the top 12.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you're by that stone. And if you land in even the 8-foot, right? Or full 8-foot will even cut it down to 1. So facing a little bit of pressure here, Tanner Horgan. Final stone, 2 up in the 7th. Facing 3 needs the pin if he wants to score. He just wants to cut it down. Full 8-foot will do the trick. They're moving in the house.
It's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's definitely in the right zone. They now tap the yellow back a little bit, rolls it onto the button. Who's closer?
Yellow.
Oh, it says it's yellow, so it is a steal of 1 for Rylan Kleiter. They close the gap. 4-3. Team Horgan with the hammer going to 8. Back for the 8th end, the last end. Well, unless there's extras, we don't know, but Tanner Horgan leading Rylan Kleiter 4-3. Team Horgan with last stone. Kleiter needs to steal to keep his hopes alive to win this Sterling Stadium Alberta Series Leduc Major. You're going to probably expect 2 center guards here. A highish one and then a tighter one, right, Haley?
Yeah, you definitely want to double guard here. It definitely raises your chances at getting that steal.
Okay, gets the first one up. Didn't quite get it to the center line, but it is a high guard, so not too bad. But with the no-tip rule, how the World Curling Federation sits, I wonder if more of the tournaments are going to use no-tip to kind of match match the WCF rule, right? To help the teams who might potentially end up playing in
Yeah.
the WCF championships that practice.
Yeah, to try and get them like ready for it, get them used to it instead of playing where you can and then jumping into where you can't and changing your strategy.
And that's where the lead has to be very precise. You have to put it on the center line. It has to touch the center line or else you can't tick it. And this is what Team Horgan's doing. They're going to tick it over. Team Kleiter tries to sweep it. They can have 2 sweepers on that sweep, but it's a perfect tick.
Yeah, very nice tick shot.
So again, if it was even under the no tick rule, Team Horgan could have ticked it because it wasn't touching the center. So leads really have to be precise on their placement.
Mhm.
In any case, they're going to try again, put up another center guard. They had a quick peek over at the Brothers drop-in game. They're in the 7th and Brothers picked 1 in the 6th. 4-2 lead for Team Brothers. Corey dropped in. The Young Bucks, they have Hammer in the 7th. So I was just talking to some of the American delegation here at the World Curling Federation Congress, and of course, they are really excited about USA Curling because obviously you've got, you know, one of the best they've ever had, John Schuster, Olympic gold medalist, still playing very, very well, and then you've got this young team of Corey dropped in. Really hot on their heels right now. Really hard to distinguish who's the best team right now. You know, they brought in Andrew Stapera now at 3rd, Mark Fenner, and Thomas Howell still on the team.
Looks like another
tick.
Yeah.
And another perfect tick. There we go.
Yeah, look at that. Got 2 double corner guards now. But yeah, definitely the Schuster and the Dropkin battle it's interesting to see how that plays out for sure.
And obviously, Corey really hasn't been able to beat John in the big game to, you know, go to the Worlds or go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
But he's right on the heels. And sometimes it's hard to get that first win against, you know, an opponent you've kept losing to, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, experience matters, and in a big game, who's been there before and done it before.
For sure. You're used to the pressure, the game almost when you have that experience of like the Olympics and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now you can start feeling.
Yeah.
Did you have a stopwatch on that?
I
That
did
went
not.
down pretty fast.
Yeah, I didn't, but it looked like it was a pretty fast one. I love when you'll watch like the big TSN games, and when it's a heavy shot, they'll have the little stopwatch on the bottom so you can see just how fast it was.
We're looking at a more creative call. Maybe not yet. I think they were looking at playing the yellow guards, try to make a double tap, move one yellow in, and then roll the shooter towards the center a little bit. Because right now, as it stands, if you keep putting up corner guards and Team Horgan just keeps peeling, the house is going to be wide open, and Tanner Horgan's going to have a pretty easy shot to win the game. So at some point, I think if they can make a play out of the yellow stones to kind of get a 2-for-1 shot, right? Get 2 things out of 1 rock. You get a guard out of it and push a rock into the rings. It's a good option. I think they're trying to play this pretty high, because the higher you play it, the harder it is to peel, right? You could peel it into one of the guards on either side and get it to bounce back. Yeah, so...
Team Kleiter definitely hope for a jam at this point. Give them something to play with.
Rolling.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, rolls guard off, mostly. Now, Rylan's going back towards those stones, and this is a good call. Move it off the center. Change the spot where the peel is.
Yeah, make it a higher chance for a jam or trying to hit one of those rocks in the house.
To a corner guard now.
Would have
Didn't
liked to
quite-
over a touch more, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. But this peel is pretty easy now.
Yeah.
You can even roll the shooter between all those guards and completely out. So
Yeah,
you're not
just
leaving
like
any more guards in play. The other play you can make at some point, and at some point you might just be forced to, is to just go around the corner guard.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just go around, try and get one in.
And then try to go around the corner guard again and sit two. And then if you're sitting two, buried, you'll force Tanner Horgan to draw against his last. And if you get the mistake, one mistake against two, and all of a sudden won the game. So he is going to make the play off these corners, trying to make the double tap on the yellows, try to roll the shooter, get back towards the center. Like I said before, a bit of a 2-for-1 shot. You're getting one in the house and another guard up. It is easy. This is a fairly high difficulty shot to make it perfect.
Yeah, to make it right and still have the rock behind the guards once it's in the house, for sure. Because it needs to curl.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
If
Yeah,
a
they
sweep
don't
they
make
might
it.
get it.
Yeah, I probably want to just stop it as a guard at this point.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Wasn't a bad attempt, but it needed to curl another 2 or 3 inches maybe to make that perfect.
To get it in, yeah. But it just seemed to stay out there.
All right, another peel from Darren. Well executed. Now I think you just go around the guard.
Yeah, I think you go in now, try and sit points.
I agree with the in turn. If you go out turn, they can make a peel and then that one's exposed. If you go around this, the double red guard, you can potentially sit 2 buried at the end of your last 2 shots, right?
Yeah.
Because they'd have to make a double peel.
Yeah.
It's not tough. The distance isn't that great on that red double peel, but it's better than a single peel. You're forcing the opponent.
Yeah, it's definitely harder to make than just the single peel.
It's also possible that if they make the draw around the corner, Tanner might decide, okay, I'm actually going to just draw and corner freeze on your stone. Could be because he might think I'm probably drawing on my last, so it'll be good practice to get one down first.
Yeah, to try and get a feel of the ice, the weight, the line.
And sometimes, Haley, that just comes down to how comfortable you are on the ice surface, right? If you've had draw weight all game, you probably don't need that practice draw. If you haven't thrown a draw in a while, right, you might want to give a go.
Yeah.
Nice draw, fully buried. is going to play the draw freeze here.
Yeah, just come sit on the corner of it.
Yeah.
For sure. Because I think even if you're still in the corner of it, your shot is still buried underneath those reds.
Yeah, exactly. You make the corner freeze now, and you probably can't lose the game because Kleiter, best they can do is sit one, and then you're drawing or hitting for the win, right? So
yeah, if they make this, it definitely puts Kleiter in a tough position to get their steal.
Team Horgan in control of this game so far, especially after they got that steal of 2 in the 5th end.
100%. I feel like that was definitely not so much a turning point, but it definitely helped push them into more control of the game.
And that's exactly the style they've played the last couple of ends. Just very conservative, removing the Kleiter stones, and that's a nice draw. Shot stone in front of the yellow.
It's nice buried behind those double reds.
Yeah, so they're thinking drawing around the other corner. If you draw around the other corner, you're probably touching more of the 8-foot. So you'll be shot stone, and then you'll force Tanner to make a draw. Yeah, make a draw to a better part of the 8-foot or 4-foot or button, whatever is needed there. But first, you got to make this one at least force your opponent to make the last stone.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. As long as you make your shot and you force them, even if you lose, if you force them to make their last shot, then that's the best you could do.
And there's still a bit of uncertainty in this game, right? Because we've seen some picks, right? So yes, you don't want to win on a pick. You don't ever feel great winning on a pick, but the fact that we've seen so many of them, it can still happen.
It definitely, I feel, is sitting in the back of their minds about that, especially with the lower weight shots I could draw. It definitely would, unfortunately,
still weight out there. Must be a little heavy. Will it stop in the back of the 8? Yes, it does, but it's wide open, I think.
It's just a hit, for sure.
Yeah, just hit, and you don't even need to stick around here.
Nope.
And it's not a draw, so the pick is a bit less likely, honestly.
A bit less, yeah.
You can still pick if there's a big
enough chunk,
Yeah, but that extra speed typically helps it run over those, imperfections on the ice, or if there's some debris.
Yeah. I haven't seen many high weight picks. I have seen one, but that was because there was a big bump in the ice, which was not fun. But I haven't seen too many up weight picks.
Buckhandle Stone 8, then a chance to make the hit for the win and book a ticket into the quarterfinals, and no problem with Tanner Horgan picks it, doesn't even need to stick around. That is the game. It's a final 5-3. Tanner Horgan beating Rylan Kleiter. Good run at the end there for Rylan Kleiter after opening with 2 losses in this tournament. Got on a great run, but just couldn't beat this Horgan team this afternoon and book a ticket into the quarterfinals. Well, Kaylee, you saw the entire match. What did you think from start to end?
I felt like it started off with a couple blanks, but then as soon as they got into it, it was very entertaining.
Yeah, and as mentioned, we got the quarterfinals coming up 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 Eastern, and there is the other game still going on. 4-2, I believe, going to 8th end. Brothers leading, Dropkin with Hammer. So if you're not on that stream right now, go to curlingdomezone.com, click those YouTube links, and join that game. Well, Haley, it's great to be on the call with you.
Yeah, it's been super fun.
I'm not sure I'll be making any more calls on this week's Leduc Alberta Series Curling Stadium, so I'm going to say goodbye to all the viewers. I've enjoyed being with you guys for the 3 or 4 draws I've been with, but Haley, hopefully you'll be doing some more coverage in the last couple of draws, and On behalf of Curling Stadium, Rory McCusker, Jerry Gertz, and the entire crew. Haley Britton, my name is Jason Chang. Until the quarterfinals.
See ya.